3rd April 2023, it is posted on NASA's Twitter handle that 4 astronauts including a woman will be land on the moon by the end of 2024 under the NASA's Artemis program. NASA is going to take its astronaut to the moon after 52 years. The last time NASA landed 3 astronauts on the moon's surface on 4th September 1972 under the Apollo 17 mission. But after that the Apollo program was stopped. According to the reports, China is also going to reach its astronauts on the surface of the moon by 2030. Together China and Russia will also mine the resources of the moon in future. India and Russia attempted a soft landing on the south pole of the moon in 2023, in which India's Chandrayaan-3 was successful but Russia's Luna 25 failed. India became the first country in the world to make a soft landing on the south pole of the moon. India is also going to launch many moon missions in future. And many countries also in the race for moon research in future. You will be surprised to know that more missions have been launched in the last 4 years than the last 2 decades. But why is the world suddenly getting attracted to the moon that in the last few years when many missions have been launched while some missions have failed and the cost on the missions is also very high still the moon mission for the future? But what is the reason for this? Before knowing the reason for this, we have to go into history. Moon, the only satellite of the Earth, which is 3,84,400 kilometers away from the Earth. 1950, when the world's 2 superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United Nations were racing to advance in every field and both nations were competing with each other. On 17 August 1958, the United Nations Air Force launched the Pioneer 1 spacecraft, which was the first moon spacecraft in human history and humanity's first attempt at space. But could not succeed due to some technical problem. After 38 days later, on 13 September 1958, the Soviet Union also launched the Luna E-1 spacecraft, but that was also unsuccessful. Initially, the missions of both the powers were failed. The day 12 September 1959, Luna to Moon mission is launched by the Soviet Union, which becomes successful. It was biggest day because the world's first spacecraft to land on the moon surface, followed by 2 consecutive missions of the Soviet Union. But there was competition between the Soviet Union and the United Nations because the United Nations also launched many different missions. Some were successful and some were not. But still NASA had not reached the moon surface. And the 16th July 1969, NASA makes history in space.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Apollo 11 becomes the first crewed mission to successfully land with 3 American astronauts on the lunar surface. The United States became the second country to soft land on the moon and the first successfully land a crew. Neil Armstrong was the first man to set foot on the surface of the moon, which was telecasted live on television as it is considered to be the biggest event in space history. NASA continued the Apollo program and successfully launched Apollo 12, 14, 16, 15, 17. From Apollo 11 to Apollo 17, total of 24 astronauts went to the moon. But with these missions, NASA only dominated the competition. Because the interest of the people in the Apollo mission was now decreasing, NASA was not able to achieve more results to this, and the cost of missions was also very high. For this reason, the Apollo Moon mission program was stopped and interest was started in the other programs. On the other hand, the USSR also stopped the Luna program due to the decreasing lunar attraction and started taking interest in other missions. Both powers had reduced the moon mission. It can be the fact that from 1950 to 1980 a total of 99 missions were launched, but only 7 missions were launched from 1980 to 2000. Over the time many other countries came forward in space. Different countries of the world kept researching the moon based on the studies done by the countries and their space agency. It was estimated that water and helium-3 like energy source on the moon. Maybe this is the reason why now the world is getting attracted towards the moon again. The University of Bristol, UK, astrophysicist Dr. Leo Linhart says that this time will witness a new kind of space race and more countries will be added to this list. We will know in detail what is the secret why suddenly many countries attracted to the moon and the race for the moon mission for the future is going on. According to a NASA report, the tests conducted by the orbiters show that water can be found in the form of ice on the south pole of the moon. The discovery of water on the moon is important for space missions as it may be necessary for space traffic. And it can be ascertained whether human habitation and scientific base should be made on the moon. Rocket fuel can be made by separating hydrogen and oxygen from water by electrolysis process, which will be helpful for rockets for long space travel. According to a research by 2050, the need for energy will increase 2 times from today and the resources and energy sources used will be limited or reduced. By then the world will need their replacement. Helium-3 is a clean gas that is an isotope of helium, but it is rare on Earth because its quantity is very less on Earth, but helium-3 is found in large quantities on the moon. The major use of helium-3 is for nuclear fusion reactors, which can generate a huge amount of energy, and a new energy resource can be found in the future. Most importantly, helium-3 is used for nuclear energy. It can also be used in scientific researches. If scientists are interested in any other celestial body after the moon, then it is Mars. New fossils show that Mars may have once had Earth-like climates, which points to life on the red planet. Evidence suggests that the red planet is currently cold and inaccessible. That is why scientists found it most fun to study on Mars after the moon. But going to Mars is not so easy because the average distance between Earth and Mars is 140 million miles, approx 225 million kilometers, which makes it difficult. For this, the space agencies has made a base on the moon, for wants to use it as a launching pad to go to Mars. The main purpose of sending humans to the moon is to find new opportunities in scientific and space research to discover new technologies so that the mystery of space can be understood. Various space travel can be understood by reaching the moon, so that we can go further to distant planets such as Mars and Neptune. Data from astronomical studies of the moon can be used to study Earth's climate modeling and weather forecasting. We can better understand the Earth's atmosphere by studying moon. The attempt to go to the moon is for any country to strengthen its establishment in the space sector. So these were some of the reasons due to which today many countries want to go to the moon and study there so that it can help in human development. If you like this report, then you can join us. We share with you a report on current hot topics with facts and real-time data.